let's move on now to what we can do to with further filtering to make this an even more powerful report. All right, so we used filters here. We used transactions pending, transactions posting. We put a date filter on, and we also said we only wanted to see transactions hitting the account type income. So I'm going to clean these boxes up too. Right click here, properties, and I'm going to call this pending. Okay, I'm going to call this posting, just to make it easier to see what's in these boxes. I'm going to call this transaction date, and we're going to call this transaction or account type. So what if I want to do further filtering? So I'm going to right click here as I did on the first video and do select fields. This time I want to be able to filter by customer type. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to select the customer list, and a field that's on the customer list is customer type right here. So we're going to add this in. Let's get it out of the way and let's call it customer type. So now I can use this to further filter the data here. So let's say that we want to see, let's make this and collapse this, just sales to the end user category by sales rep. So I apply this filter here, or I can see by the home builder here, or the retail category here. I could also see by retail and end user by holding down the control key and clicking that. So we've got quite a number of things going on here, quite a number of selections. So what I'm going to do to make it easier to tell exactly what's going on is I'm going to add a new current selections box. And that's going to give us an easy list now to show everything that's happening within this report, all the filtering that's going on. So you can see we have end user and retail selected for customer type. Here are our dates. This is the account type we're using. And again, we're only doing non-pending and posting transactions. So now we have a report. We have income by sales rep. We've added some other dimensions in to let us see income by sales rep and customer and by item. And we can rearrange that in this pivot table. So that we show it in various different ways. So what I want to do next is to really start to unlock some of the even more powerful features of advanced reporting. So we've been using the example of a sales commission report. Some people will want to calculate sales commission not only by income, but subtract from that income cost of goods sold to get to a gross margin. By sales rep or sales rep and customer or sales rep and customer and item. So to do that, we're going to have to modify what we have, because at this point we're only choosing to use account type of income. So let's start this process. I'm going to give you a couple of examples to work into it. So I'm going to right click here and go to properties again. And I'm going to go to the expressions tab, and I'm going to right click here, and I'm just going to copy the income expression that we have already written. So just to show you here, we're going to have two expressions called income, and they do exactly the same thing. So if I start changing these filters, they're going to change in the same way, obviously, since they both have the same code. I'm going to right click again and get into properties again. If I double click into this, I'm going to start to show you the way that that expressions can be modified to take on their own filters and to use those filters in conjunction with filters that have been selected for the entire QuickView document or advanced reporting document. So there are three major parts to most expressions. Okay, we have the name of the expression. In this case, it's sum, and then we have, you know, the little brackets here around the outside. We have what's being summed. So in this case, it's the transactions amount with sign field is being summed. But we can also then add in some code here that tells it that we want to have some very specific things done that happen outside of any selections that we've made with our selection boxes. And the way that we start to do that is to type a squiggly bracket here. I'm not sure if it has a real name other than that. And then we do a left housetop. Again, not sure what the real name is there. And we can now start to say what we want other criteria to be. In this case, I'm going to do Transactions.Account Type, which we've already used, equals income. And then I'm going to finish up the statement here like this. All right. So now we have the statement here. Again, it's a sum. We have what we're going to be summing, but then we're also specifying that we want some specific criteria to for the records that get selected for this. So if I go and click OK now, it's not going to be very informative because it's exactly the same thing, because this is also specifying that this version of our income expression is going to be on income. We'll use the account type of income. Okay, but look what happens when I select here. Now we've got this one recalculating. This one stays the same because we had hard-coded into it, basically, that we only wanted to look at the account type of income. So if I go back and reselect income here, you'll see that they match again. All right. So this is the way that we're going to be able to use some selections here, but also then be able to calculate different things in different expression columns. So let's come back in here, and this we're going to keep as the income column, and I'm going to copy this again, and I'm going to paste it in, and we're going to call this cost of goods sold. And what we're going to come down here and do is we're going to change this from an income account type to cost of goods sold. And if I click OK, now we're going to see we have income and cost of goods sold. I can clear this filter out for income. And now you see that these two remain exactly the same. So in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of my original income, or I'm going to disable it here. And now we have income and cost of goods sold. So we're mostly on our way to being able to then calculate this gross margin. So if I go back in, right click, and go to properties again, I'm going to just add another expression. I'm going to drag this down so we can see our field names. And in this case, what I'm going to do is calculate income minus cost of goods sold. So we can write expressions that actually reference other expressions that we've already created. So this income references this expression, and this cost of goods sold references this. Click OK again, and let's name this. We're going to name it gross margin. And voila, here we have it. We have income, we have cost of goods sold. The difference between the two is this number. So I can come back in here, and because I've created this new gross margin, I'll need to give it a number format. So we're going to make that the same as the others. We're going to be using that fixed format. Click OK. So now we have a report that shows us our gross margin by sales rep. So I can collapse this dimension, and here's the gross margin for each of our sales reps. So with this, we can now blow it out again. Let's expand all, and then expand all here. Okay, maybe our sales reps want to be able to see exactly to whom they sold and what items they've sold. So we can create it like this. And again, we have the capability here to start changing things here. So let's take off this filter that's they get paid commissions no matter what customer type gets used. So let's take off that filter by removing it from the current selections box. And now we've got it simply pending and posting transaction filters as well as transaction date. We can click the Excel button here and we can kick this out to Excel. And send it off in a spreadsheet to them so they can see how much gross margin they have by customer and by item.